Okay, so we're talking about Frank, and we're talking about Frank and Naomi. Is that what we're talking about? Okay, so we're talking about just to catch up. The internet went off while I was doing the live for YouTube, so I had to restart it. So let me go back a little bit. Is that okay, guys? Just so we can catch up. So we're gonna use Frank and we're gonna use Naomi as our test subject for the day, and we're gonna use how to understand especially breaking cycles in a relationship, especially specifically breaking cycles in a marriage. And that's what we're talking about, right? TikTok, do you agree? YouTube, if you're joining now, we're talking about breaking cycles in a relationship, in a marriage. And that's what we're going through. So our test subjects are Frank and Naomi. Frank has OCD. He's very compulsive. He likes things to be done a certain way. He wants everything to be done according to the perspective he carries because, of course, he sees things differently. Now, Naomi also does things differently. Well, for Naomi, she's trying to understand how to live with her husband in a marriage. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that a woman is, uh, you know, I just want to be careful. This doesn't mean that the woman is the one designated to do cleaning all the time. A clean house takes two people. It takes two intentional people to make things happen. So it takes two people to clean a home. So it takes two people to keep a home clean. One can keep it clean, one can make it dirty. Doesn't matter. So anybody can clean a home. So let's just get that out of the way. But let's say Frank always gets very upset. He gets upset because Naomi doesn't do things the way he wants it. He has a pet peeve about the placement. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody yet? He has pet peeves about placement. So Naomi's trying so hard to please her husband. So every time Naomi goes to clean up the house, she tries it her way. She tries to put things the way she wants to. She's trying to do what Frank wants, but every time Frank comes over or comes back or is around, he's not happy. Why? Because his pet peeves, his mindset, whatever he's thinking, only magnifies every wrong that she's doing. So we talk about breaking cycles. Does that make sense to anybody yet? So here is the mind of Frank as a man. Just for everybody who's here and sisters and brothers, those of you that are, connected in relationships and marriages to understand from a man's perspective. Why is she so dirty? Why is she always like this? It is very simple. Put this here. Why can't you just do something as simple as putting this here? Doesn't that even make sense? Look, blue things go with blue things. Red things go with red things. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's better looking. Why is she so misunderstanding when it comes to something as simple as just putting stuff the way it's meant to be? Now, that's his mind. Does that make sense for anybody? Now, the mind of Naomi is going to be as follows. To Naomi, I'm trying so hard to please this man. I'm trying so hard in myself just to get him to recognize that, look, I'm learning. I may not do it your way, but can you appreciate me a little bit? Can you just stop looking at the negative and just look at, at least I'm doing something? Two different mindsets. It's two different people. How do you break this cycle? There's got to be a way to break it because it's got to be broken. If not, nobody's going to be what you call happiness in that relationship at all. The man is going to find himself always angry according to his personal expectation. The woman is always going to feel unappreciated according to her misunderstanding. And anybody outside of the group is going to look at that marriage as unsuccessful. So pressure from individuals are going to begin to manifest. And then, eventually the marriage is not really going to go into a place of, enjoyment because that affects their intercourse style. That affects their whole dynamic, connection. It affects the whole intimacy. If there are kids, don't even talk about it. Makes things worse. But there's got to be a way. The wisdoms of God makes you begin to understand that there indeed is a way. If you look at Philippians chapter 2, and you begin to just go a little bit into it, which tells you to have this mind in you that Christ had. This is the beginning of the conversation. Who would not even consider the fact that he has what we call equality with God, understand where he came from, but was not looking to grasp onto that knowledge, but humbled himself to become just like a human. Have that mind in you. I know you guys might, let me take my time to break that apart, and you guys will, garner certain revelations soon. It means no matter whatever you think about yourself, when it comes to the revelation of love to a person that you've called to love, if you can't put aside everything that you think high and mighty of yourself and become exactly like that which you love, you're never going to be able to elevate it. Does that make sense? YouTube, does that make sense? YouTube. Before the whole thing cut off, we had a much better numbers. We got to get it back up. So let's like the video, share it, and let's just get more people. Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? If you cannot lower yourself to the level of the person you claim you love, for the soul understanding of elevating them, then it can't be love. Why? It means what you think you have is actually more important than your actual connection or vow or commitment to your spouse. I'm getting a lot of problem with YouTube today. Does that make sense? Let me explain. If Frank really knows how to clean the home and understands placement of things, then Frank should understand something in his mind, that everything he has is a blessing to Naomi. It is not a competition with Naomi. Guys, pay attention. If Frank knows how to clean better, that ability to clean is for the benefit of Naomi. It is not to compete with Naomi. Am I making sense so far? We have this conception about marriage, which really goes against the whole order of unity. A lot of people don't get this. People think things in their minds and just use it against your spouse. Are you with me? Example, why can't you just do it the way I'm thinking about it? No, instead of holding her accountable to your mind, you do what you're thinking about so she can see it. You guys catching it on that? You guys catching on now? You do what you want her to do so she can see it. Because Naomi's way of growing up is completely different from how Frank grew up. In the way she grew up, to Naomi, that's cleaning. What she did was perfect. To her, she's done her best. But to Frank, it's not the best, it's the worst. Why? Because Frank comes from a different cultured home. And from the environment he came from, placement of things has got to make sense. You put things in order of color and size. There's a management system. He saw that growing up. His parents was like that. Whatever he's got came from somewhere. The fact that the two of you are married together, you can't use what you got against your spouse. You can only use what you got to benefit your spouse. Does that make sense? So that means instead of Frank going against her spouse, because see, I would talk about the negative and the positive version. Instead of Frank going, to the extent of, why can't you clean better like me? Why can't you do it the way I'm talking about it? Why can't you just be? You're going to find yourself in a cyclic way of always just exhausting your displeasure in your spouse. Does that make sense? Anybody? Does them because in the mind of Frank, you're lazy. In the mind of Naomi, you're unappreciative. So imagine trying to talk to each other. How are we going to have any kind of resolution? Where is it going to come from? Guys, let's be practical. Where is it going to come from? Frank, what's wrong? I don't know what's going on. My wife, man, she doesn't listen. She doesn't submit to me. Everything I tell her, she don't listen to me. Like, I don't even get it. What type of woman is this? Like, it's easy, bro. It's easy. If you got black stuff, you line them up all black. You got white stuff, you line them up all white. Like, I just keep telling her the whole thing, but she don't get it. And we got to go through this all day. Okay, Frank, are you done? Yeah, I'm done. Naomi, what's wrong? Sir, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't even get it. Every time he tells me to do stuff, he just says it. And then he leaves, and I try my whole best. I try to do the way he said it, but he's never happy, and he's always just making a big deal out of it. Like, who cares if the red doesn't follow red and it follows white? Who cares? See, they're both valid in the way they think, but they're both invalid to what creates unity. Does that make sense now? So the word of God in Philippians chapter 2 tells me that I should have this type of mindset. Christ, who knew his equality with God, knew he came from the throne of the Father, knew he has everything like the Father, he didn't hold on to that fact that he was God in flesh. He actually put that aside so he can what? Miniaturize himself to the very what? People he's coming to die for. He came all the way to minimize himself, to be just 100% human, even though 100% God. But the God part was not his mindset. The human part was to understand. What that means is everything I got is for your benefit. If I can't literally come to the level of my spouse, my wife, my husband, and elevate them from that level to a higher place of sight, I'm wasting time. That means your height is for your wife. Do you see it? Whatever you have that's a benefit is for your wife. If you have a cleaning ability, as a man, if you have the foresight, if you know how to do placement of things in the best way, that is the benefit for your spouse. You're a benefactor. You're the benefactor. They're gonna benefit from you. Am I making sense? Am I cutting through so far? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? The only way to break a cycle, because cycles comes from things unresolved. Cycles don't come from things resolved, unless the things resolved become a new wave. But cycles that is negative comes from negative things unresolved. So I'm taller than my wife. I'm 6'2". My wife is 5 something. My wife should not be standing on stuff to try to reach things when I'm tall. And my job is not to tell her, why are you so short? How come you don't just, no, that my job is to utilize the blessing God gave me for her. So the height I have is for her. So even though I'm tall and I like being a big, tall guy, it's literally for my wife. Does that make sense to anybody? So she doesn't have to ever worry about grabbing things that are high because God gave her that blessing through me. So if I have a certain way of thinking as a man, where especially I can see things before they occur, some men are blessed like that. Some men can really, I'll give you an example. Sometimes you could just look at stuff. I do have that blessing. You could just look at stuff and just look at the way they're going and predict exactly the outcome. And let's say I'm that type of man. Now I'm making a whole different, whatever. And this time I'm going to use me and my wife, right? Let's say I have the ability to predict the future. Like, oh, you know what? If we get a property here before 3 years, it looks like the property value is really going to go high. So, honey, what do you think? Can we get a property there? But let's say your wife doesn't see that, right? And let's say you don't get that property. And all of a sudden, 3 years later, it becomes a hot ground. Everybody's getting that property. The value goes up. Most men or women will use it against their spouse. See, you don't listen. You don't listen. I don't even know why I married you. I don't even get it. I tell you stuff and you don't submit. I tell you stuff and you don't want to hear me out. I told you this was going to be hot and you said no. Now see what happened? I told you so. That's not my job. This is why we have problems in marriages. The things God gives me is to benefit my wife, which are positive. The things that God gives my wife is to benefit me, which are positive. This is God's enactment to tangibly bless my life through my spouse. But most people don't know it. They don't take direction from their wives. They don't take clarity from their wives. They don't take what their husbands say. That's your blessing you're missing. You're missing the greatest opportunity of blessings from your spouse. Does that make sense? Instead of paying attention to the negative, allow me to tell you something that I've really come to realize a lot about relationships. We only focus on the negatives. You can never break a cycle if all you can see is a negative. It's not going to work out. The human mind only magnifies everything you're thinking about. If you think happy thoughts, everything after that is going to be happy movements. If you think bad thoughts, everything after that becomes melancholy, becomes ominous. So the thoughts of a person designs the emotional wave of that person. Does that make sense? Meaning, if I only pay attention to the negatives of my wife, all I'm going to see is magnified negative. She could do 9 good things, 1 bad thing, and I'm going to see the 1 bad thing against the 9 good things. Does that make sense? She could do amazing things, but if my mind is negatively charged, looking for negativity, the only thing I'm going to see is the 1 negative she did. And because my brain magnifies on the negative, it will go back in my understanding and tell me, see, I was right. So I can use it against you. That's so juvenile. This is why we're having problems in marriages. We're not utilizing the wisdom of God at all. We're not allowing the wisdom of God to come out and start teaching us how to live with each other. The more you understand that every good thing about your life is a blessing from God for the benefit of your spouse, it's going to change. If she doesn't cook well, maybe you do. Cook for her. That's her benefit. That's her strength. My strengths are for her weaknesses. Her strengths are for my weaknesses. So the balance is kept intact. What happens is, wherever I need support in understanding, I mature. Wherever she needs support in understanding, she matures. But you both, God, come on, guys. Do you get it? Because in a relationship, most of the times we find ourselves frustrated because of the things we told our spouse. So one of my sisters said they're angry because they keep going through the same problems over and over. And I'm like, no, it's not a problem you're going through over and over. 2 of you are choosing your own perspective over unity. That's the problem. Your anger is not based on what pushes the relationship forward. Your anger is based on what makes you feel right. You just want to win a conversation. You just want to feel that you are right. And right is, every time I'm right is against my spouse. And any right makes her wrong, doesn't move us forward. It's a common understanding we need to have. So if I'm gonna really employ anger, it's gotta be completely based on what moves us forward, not what pulls us back. So to break cycles is as easy. Well, I don't want to say easy. You need the wisdom of God. But in the wisdom of God, it's as easy as literally dying to yourself, dying to your mind, coming to the level of the person. If not, you're not going to break the cycle. Because people are stubborn. Your husband is stubborn and you are stubborn. People are stubborn. And most of the times, it's really not you they're fighting. It's really not, it's not you. It's themselves. Because should you be right and I'm wrong, that makes the man feels like he's not in charge. So is it a fight about authority? Is it a fight about power? Or is it a fight about what? What are we fighting about? Because should I admit my wrong? Oh my God, you're right. Then the man feels less of a man. Should a woman agree he's right? That makes her feel like, oh, that means he's controlling me and I don't get to speak my mind. See where it is? You're fighting to keep power. Because it's two people that are supposed to die to their whole mindset. Adapt the mind of Christ, the patterns of love, and let that grow them indefinitely. That's it. So everything about me is a blessing to my wife. My height is a blessing to my wife. My strength is a blessing to my wife. My strength is not to beat up my wife. My strength is to protect my wife. Women, your voice and your emotions are not to fight and nag your husbands. You're supposed to utilize that spiritually and pray emotionally, which is something we could talk about. Pray fervently with that. You're not supposed to nag your hubby about that. You're not supposed to utilize the things you have against your hubby. You're supposed to bless them with it. So if you can do something good in terms of like you're a good homemaker, you clean good or you cook good, look at it from the perspective of how you're blessing your spouse with it. That's it. And look at it from the perspective of how your spouse blesses you with what they have. And that's what makes it easier. Because if the minds don't really begin to align, it's really hard. Because you're going to go in the cyclic nature. We got to break the cycle with wisdom. Wisdom is understanding God's perspective and His will and knowing how to not just adapt, but utilizing it. That's wisdom. Knowing how God has instituted a whole concept of marriage and utilizing to its T. And wherever something doesn't really go well, adapting to that, no, this is what works, and that's what makes it work. Every time I read Philippians 2, and I look at how the name Jesus, every knee shall bow, it came from a place where Christ submitted completely to the will and the whole entire will of God, even though He was all God. He let it all go, even though He knew who He was, only to accept exactly how God wanted Him to walk. And He walked as man, 100% God and 100% man, and sacrificed for it. Somebody says, we all do that, but don't get appreciated. That's the problem. That's the problem. See, you guys, it looks like the question is revolving around the same thing. We all do the same thing and we don't get appreciated. Why do you do what you do? If you do what you do because you understand the reason for it, you don't actually need somebody to tell you they appreciate you to know you're doing the right thing. See, right now, I know I'm speaking a lot of truth. I wish I had thousands of people watching me, right? Now, if I don't get thousands of people watching me, should I feel underappreciated? I have a right. I'm trying to open your mind. I have a right to want a lot of people to watch because I know I carry certain wisdoms that's really going to benefit them, but I don't have that right now. So should I stop? No. As long as what I'm doing I know is right, just keep doing it. You might not get appreciated, but that's not what I'm looking for. It comes eventually, but not because I'm requesting it. If it's requested, then the mindset is not connected to humility and servitude. The idea is I'm not requesting it. But eventually, when you see it, you're going to naturally appreciate it. But the fact that I'm not looking for it is the reason why when it comes, it's even better. But if I want it and I don't get it, then I'm ticked off and I'm pissed. If I'm pissed, I can't keep doing it. If I can't keep doing it, then now we're back to the same cycle. Does that make sense? Are you guys learning something from this? Everything you have is a benefit of your spouse. And I'm telling you, there are men who just keep telling their wives to do stuff. And I'm like, if you knew how to do it, just do it so she can have something to look at. Stop telling your wife to do stuff. Like, I don't like how you clean the house. Like, okay, dude, it looks like you have wisdom of cleaning. Clean the house. Let her see what your mind tells you the definition of clean. Let her see it. So she can actually see something new. Because she only knows what she learned from home. That's all she knows. So how is she going to be able to see something in your head? You keep telling her, well, this is not clean enough. What is the meaning of leadership if it's not really true exemplification? See, leadership, another time, if you guys have a time, we could talk another time about headship and leadership. We have to understand this. I need more men. I'm looking for a lot of men so we can talk. Headship versus leadership. There has to be an understanding. Leadership is not asking for stuff to be done for you. You show what you're trying to portray in reality for understanding to take place. You demonstrate the patterns of understanding intangibility. That's a great leader. The ability to get people around you, not just to share in the vision, but participate by the demonstration of it. So if you're asking your spouse to do something and asking over and over and over, that's going to actually get you exhausted and frustrated because the expectation will not be met and your mind will tell you he or she doesn't love you. And I beg to differ. It's just ignorance. The person doesn't even understand what you're requesting of them. Like, how do you expect somebody who doesn't understand your way of thinking to act exactly how you're thinking? Like, even you can do it. Even you can do what they're asking you to do. So why do you hold it against the person you love? That's where the fault of marriage, people go through that challenge. The cycles are unresolved things that are negatively charged, to which everybody holds individual perspective about the outcome. In his mind, this is how I want to see it. In her mind, this is how I want to see it. Both of y'all are not going to see the same thing. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. Does that make sense? A lot of my sisters too, sometimes they talk about romance and talk about how they want their husbands to be like this. My husband doesn't talk to me enough. He doesn't spend time with me. I'm like, okay, look, it is easy to complain. It is easy to point out negatives. Can you tell me some positives about your hubby? How about we start? Why? Because I want to remind you of something. Because your mind is only focused on the negatively charged aspect of the person. You can't see the positivity with the person. Okay, fine. Tell me a little bit more good things you love about your husband. Let's pay attention a little bit. And oh, well, he's a good this, he's a good provider, and he's a blah, 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 and he's a blah, 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 he's a blah, 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 he's a blah. Okay, good. So all these things are good. You like that about him. When was the last time you actually told him, thank you, I appreciate you, I like what you do, this is so amazing that you do it so well? When was the last time you showed any dedication to the things you appreciate? Zero. Okay, so you don't, because those things aren't given to you now. So you're just looking for problems. That's why you're not happy. Your mind is only, magnified, completely just minimized to look for the negative. That's why you're finding so much negative. I understand he's not doing something that you want, but I understand the things he does that you want, you don't even care. It means you're taking it for granted. Why don't you actually go do the things you're asking him to do? Because maybe he doesn't know how to do it. Look, the wisdom of God makes you see things the way they're meant to be seen. And a lot of us don't really get it. We go listen to social media. A lot of people tell about, hey, if he ain't doing this, if he ain't doing this, he doesn't love you. If he's not doing this, he doesn't love you. If she's not doing this, she doesn't love you. And we come home with that microscopic way of thinking. I'm looking for everything the internet said. If he's not doing, he doesn't love me. And I'm going to judge him by what he has no clue of, what she has no clue of, what somebody else said. I'm going to judge him. And all of a sudden, you know what? I've noticed every time you're around me, you don't say you love me. What? Based on what? Based on what? What you heard? No. Start with, let me see everything that is good. Because like I say, if you're going to break a cycle, there has to be a new light. There has to be a new light. The light has to be based on wisdom. The wisdom has to be God's wisdom. If you check out Philippians chapter 2, read it. I really want to give everybody an assignment. Go read Philippians chapter 2. Look at how he says, have this mind in you as Christ had. Look at how he said he did not even look at being one with God as something to hold on to, but he leveled by submitting himself. And look at how he says the word of God makes it so clear, always making the other person more important than yourself is the thinking. Always allowing yourself to understand what the other person is trying to portray, to see it from the depth so you can really make efforts or amends. He's given us the blueprint. It's written, it's documented. It shows you how you can get somebody to see the way you love them, but we can't because eye to eye is more important. Well, if I do that for him, he's taking me for granted. If I do that for her, she's taking me for granted. We got to stop it. Everything about me is a blessing to my wife. Everything about my wife is a blessing to me. That's the mindset we have to carry. Instead of saying, do it this way, no. If I can see it, it's a blessing for her. That means if I'm a good driver and my wife is my wife isn't a bad driver, but if my wife is a bad driver, the conversation is not to keep saying, why are you such a bad driver? How come you don't drive good? No, it means I'm going to bless my wife with my driving. And the more I drive her is the more she understands how driving is. Because whatever I have come to, be blessed by God's grace with is a blessing. He's benefiting from me as I benefit from her. We got to get this mind. Stop looking for the problem and say you don't do this. And the thing you're asking to be done to you, do it to them. Let them see it. Does that make sense? Stop with, oh, I don't like how you clean and, you don't clean it spotless. Okay, so you have a vision of, cleanliness. Show it. It's not a wrong thing to do things for your spouse. It's not a bad thing. Who do you want to do it for? I've actually come to realize that the things we complain about our spouses, we easily do it out for other people. Easily do it out for other people. Because it's not real, it's fake. We easily smile to other people. We easily, what is the word I'm looking for? Easily just be kind to other people. It's easy to do these things outside. You go to work, your boss gets on time, gets on you about not submitting something in time, and your boss is not happy with you, and you keep silent. And your boss says everything that he wants to say, and the next thing, you're working without an attitude. Why is that possible? How can that not be translated at home? Do you know why? The perception about your boss and your husband is completely misaligned. The perception about your workmate people and your wife is misaligned. Oh, well, I need to be nice because I'm in the office. But my wife, no, I don't need to be nice. I need to just speak to her anyhow. No, I'm a blessing to my wife. Does that make sense? My spouse usually says or tells me it isn't everything I need to be taught. Well, thank God you married your spouse. I'll leave it right there. Does that make sense to you? Does that make complete sense? Read Philippians chapter 2, everybody. For those of you that are, God's kids, read Philippians chapter 2. Understand the concept of learning to be like the person that you really want to love. Learning to lower yourself to that standard. Learning to uplift them to your standard, not by telling them. Christ could have just come in and told us things of heaven. He could have just stood and said, okay, in heaven, this is what we do. You guys do it. We won't be able to do it. No, he actually did it. He walked it. He showed us how not to, revile when he was reviled. He showed us how to forgive in the worst of pain. He showed us how to let go when he was lied to. He looked at Peter, told Peter what Peter was going to do, came back and said, Peter, yo, I know you're going to do this, but I'm here to teach you how to get out of it. And I'm not just going to leave you with the things I'm saying. I'm going to give you my spirit so you can think exactly like I do. So can I leave my wife with the Spirit of God in me? Can I leave my wife to cause the Spirit of God in me to be seen in her so she can, for the first time, understand it? And if you, the woman, is claiming you know God so much and you're spiritual, can you let what is within you be shown to your hubby? You married him. Don't you want to see the king in him? Can you let it come out instead of complaining or nagging? Because I'm still yet to see what complaining does. I've been complaining I'm not a millionaire. I'm still not a millionaire. I'm still waiting to be a millionaire. Complain all you want. It's not going to change anything. Because the cycles can only be broken with wisdom and light. The things you have that God has given you is the blessing to portray to your hubby. I know you think submission is the worst thing ever asked of you, but you easily give it out to pastors who don't really want, they don't live with you. But if your pastor said, yo, you got to get on at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're on. You got to get on at 9:30, 9:29, you're on. Let your hubby say, hey, honey, let's have a conversation by 2 o'clock. Like, 2 o'clock is not good for me. Like, what's wrong with the under? So everything is pseudo. Everything is fake. Because with the pastor, it's competition. Because every woman is going to give themselves to the pastor. So it is like, okay, if I don't do it, another woman will do it. So see, you're going to do that. So submission has never been an issue. But well, I don't even call that submission anyway. But then, if it's your hobby, no, it's competition. Then it means you choose to give yourself to things that you agree to. That's it. Did you not agree to be your husband's wife? Did you not agree to be a husband to your wife? And for men, do you see how dedicated you are when it comes to your business? Do you see how dedicated when somebody calls you in the office and tells you, okay, we had a call out. Can you take it? Oh, yeah, I'll take it. See how dedicated you are when it comes to something concerning money? Well, that's your treasure then. How come your wife says, hey, let me sit down with you? Oh, here we go again. Oh, you want me to sit down? You're about to complain and I'm not ready for this. But let me say your office calls you. We got to have a staff meeting. What time? Oh my God, I gotta go. What happened? What is the urgency in that? That's where your treasure is. But do you see that urgency you had? That urgency to go to the workplace because there was a staff meeting and you had to be there, and how much you're ready to really give yourself to listen to whatever they're going to tell you. 90% of the time is going to be more work, less pay, but you're going to listen. Doing that wasn't a problem. Doing that wasn't a problem. Your wife to you is a burden. The other things are not burdens. If you have to drive an extra hour, that's okay. But if you have to drive your wife for 20 minutes, that's not okay. Something is not right. God gave us good things as a blessing. If God has given me the ability to teach, and I know I'm a teacher by nature, if I can't teach my wife, I'm not a teacher. If God has given me the ability to understand, and I can't understand my wife, I don't have the spirit of understanding. You see, if God has given me the ability to lead, and I can lead my family, I'm not a leader. See, this is how we have to see it. The blessings upon your life is not just transactional, they are supposed to be worked on, they're supposed to be tested, they're supposed to be put in effect. That's how I'm mature in the things God has given me. That's why we have a lot of pastors who claim they're pastors, build churches, and have marital issues. Because the way people appellate them, like, hey, man of God, man of God, the way they feel big, at home, they want to feel like that. Like, worship me, my wife, worship me. She's not going to worship you. No, she's going to mature you. She's going to bring out the things you say you can't do. Don't get angry. God is actually using her for your sake. The things you can't prove at home are the things you've not matured in. But at church, whatever you say goes, right? Because your members say, oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful message. Oh, man of God, the best. And then let's say you go to your wife, and your wife's like, honey, but that thing you said that doesn't really correspond with the word of God the way it was meant to. Because the word actually says this, oh, you're going to challenge me. No, she's helping you. She's helping you get better understanding. Are you guys getting it now? TikTok, does it make sense to you? YouTube, does it make sense to you? So the only way to break cycles is very simple. You have to come into the level of the person to understand fully and know that everything that you have that to you is good. Let that be a blessing for the other person. And whenever you're doing it, don't worry about appreciation. It's a natural phenomenon. It comes in the right timing. Don't request it. If you can't do for the one you claim you love, I'm not making you love them. You did. You married them without me. You said I do without me. You said whatever you wanted to say. You made your decision with nobody. You said this is whom I choose. Good. Demonstrate your choice with everything that you've been blessed with without complaint. Let it fly naturally. And watch people grow around you. But the cycles will never break if each person has their own individualistic mindset about their personal expectations on the same issue. Without God's foundation, you're not breaking anything. It's not going to happen. You're just going to run tired of each other. You're going to believe the other person is the worst person in the world. And I always say this, there's always a whole other side to everything. There's the one side where you're pissed and angry at your spouse, but there's another side where your spouse is the best blessing you've ever seen. The only difference is you utilizing wisdom to make that a reality. It's there. Stop looking at what other people are doing and start looking at what you can do to affect yours. I don't care about his age. I don't care about her age. You've married each other. Pay attention to each other. Utilize who God is to you to benefit the other person. Anybody who says they don't know the definition of what true love means, true love is not the affection you have for a person, because affection can be decided by emotion. The day they piss you off, there goes your love. So that can't be true love. That can only be human way. But if you really want to understand true love, even from the version of altruism, go to agape. Agape love is not measured when the person makes you feel good. It's measured by what you want to give that person. So love, as a definition, is unselfishly seeking the best for the other person. That becomes what love is. So yes, I know what you think you want, but what are you willing to give? Because whatever you want will come from what you give. That's where it comes from. But everybody here is like, no, you do this first, then I'll do that. No, you submit first, then I'll love you. No. You love me, then I'll submit. No, why don't you just go ahead and do what God has asked? The hardest thing for a woman to do is to subject herself. Yet, she will subject herself to so many other things. The hardest thing for a man to do is to sacrifice for his wife. But that same man can sacrifice for so many other things. 'Cause there are some men that will sacrifice for their friends. If a friend gives them a call, the whole house is on hold. They're out the door. Why? Because they got to go do that thing for their friend. There's some men, anything that's asked of them outside the home, they're there. Let somebody like his wife ask the same thing and watch his reaction. Oh no, nah, I don't feel like it, I'm tired. Why? Because the value of the relationship is not really defined yet. So we still don't know. See how it works? Everything that is a positive is the benefit of your spouse. If it's not a benefit of your spouse, it's not what you think it is because it's not matured. Whatever it is that you think you do good at, if you can't do it at home, it's not real. This is how you break cycles. You break it by bringing something new. So instead of, hey, I don't like how you clean, you clean. Show up, show them, lead by example. Let's see how it cleans. My wife knows what I'm good at. I'll give you guys an example. My wife is the best chef in the world, hands down. Hands down. She's the best chef in the world because she learns from the best. So she knows every trick. Now, I'm not a chef. I barely cook. But because my wife cooks so much, she cooks for us. Does that make sense? She doesn't actually cook the things that she really likes. She only cooks the things she knows we like. So somebody's gonna have to look out for her, right? Sometimes I gotta beg her to cook for her because I notice some of the things she likes, like yam and corned beef stew, she loves it. I'm the one that makes it for her. But even if she's not gonna let me cook yam or whatever, at least I know my wife drinks a lot of tea. I'm gonna make tea for her. If I get a chance, I'm gonna make tea for her. See, I'm always looking to fill the gap where she's missing. She's always looking to fill the gap for the family. She's always looking to make sure we are fed. She's always looking to make sure everybody has enough. Somebody's gonna have to look out for her. Why? Because in the natural course of reasoning, she's gonna get depleted. Well, we thank God that His grace carries her so much and gives her so much ability, but the grace will also give me an understanding. Look out for her. When she's done, take the baby away. Give her some time to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Go massage her, play. Well, I'm not saying things for me to make you like me. I don't want you to like me. Like the word of God, like the wisdom, not the person. I just want you to understand there is a blessing for your spouse in you. If I pay attention to negative things, I'm only going to see negative. I will see 1,000 negatives. But if I look for opportunity to serve, I'm only going to see opportunity to serve. So look for the opportunity to serve your spouse. Don't come in from the mindset they're going to use it against me. This is your spouse we are talking about. Your chosen person to die with. Are you your chosen person to die? You can't serve her? The hardest thing is to sacrifice your life for your spouse. Your wife is the hardest thing because that's the only place you don't, let me take this nonsense off. That's the only place you're not going to get the thank you deserve. Should you go out to the office, should you go outside and go meet your friends and make anything which is pseudo sacrifice, it's not real sacrifice, but you do something for your friends, everybody's going to clap for you. Why? Because they saw you do it. Hey, what's up, Frank? Good job. Yo, you came through, Frank. You the man. Okay, sounds good. You did well. Good for you. At home, there's not going to be any clap. Nobody's going to meet up and say, good job, hubby. Not going to happen. But that's where you grow. Because it's really going to define if you really want to do it or not. Why do you really want to do it? Do you think the person deserves it? See, this is how grace is explained to me. The grace of God is undeserved favor. So not because I deserved it, because to deserve something, they earned it. So should they earn it, then it's transactional. If my wife earns my attention, then it's transactional. That means whenever she doesn't, I'm not going to be. So what does that make me? A fake person. Do I really love her, or do I love how she makes me feel so I can love her? Do you see? Because grace is undeserved favor. So whatever I'm about to do to my spouse, nobody's going to clap for me. Nobody's going to say, yay, good job. No. Did they earn it? Then it's a problem. Is it undeserved? You're on the right path. So I'm going to do something for my spouse, not because they deserve it, but because I love them. Do you see the difference? That's how you break cycles. Because sometimes we don't know how our spouses grew. We don't know how our spouses grew up in terms of their past. We don't know the shells in their heart. We don't know the environmental traumas they've been through. You guys like using trauma. I don't like that term. But we don't know what they've been through. We don't know what makes them hide, what makes them shy, the reason they don't really pop out and really become themselves. Well, God is going to use you to break that shell. And it comes from the undeserved part, things they don't earn, but is given to them. That's what makes them know importance. That's what makes them understand appreciation. Like, I didn't earn this. Let me give you the easiest understanding on how not to earn something. In an argument your spouse started, it is your wife's fault. It is your husband's fault. He started it. We know he started it. He was having a bad day. He was just yelling and just making a ruckus. And all of a sudden, you got involved. And here you are, a full-blown fight. He started it. He doesn't need you to say nice things to him, but that's what undeserved means. They don't deserve it. That's what breaks the cycle. I know whatever you're going through is really ticking you off, but I'm just here for you. I don't want to see you go through this because I love you. How can I make your day better? They don't deserve it, but that's what breaks the person. That is your answer. Bless them. See, when a person is angry, bless them with your peace. Because your spouse is the one angry at something. You're not angry. Don't join the anger. Like, how ludicrous would it be? You go and your spouse is about to light themselves on fire and you become the flammable substance? Think about it. This is human sense. They want to flame up. Instead of you just cooling the issue, you become the substance, the little gasoline to ignite it even much more. Well, no, too much. Let's be wise. Does that make sense to anybody yet? Let's just be wise. Let's walk the way of wisdom. If my husband is not going through something, if my husband is going through something, if my wife is going through something, I'm going through it. If she's going through something that really disrupts her, my anger is not towards her. My anger is looking at what caused this. Who caused this? Where did this originate? What the heck is the devil trying to do? Why is he trying to go against my spouse? Do I need to start praying right now? Do I need to begin to, the Holy Spirit, open my eyes to see what I'm meant to see? How do I speak to this? How do I get her away from the grip of the enemy? How do I say something to confirm love back to her? And all I do, you say the right words. You see the right words. What Bible? It's Proverbs 25:11. If anybody can put it up, he says, I think it's Proverbs 25:11. It's the word of God says that like golden apples in a setting of silver are words spoken in the right circumstance. That means you could just look at your spouse and speak the right, be a blessing. Speak the right word in the right circumstance at the right time and look at your spouse blossom in front of you. That fight you've been fighting for 25 years, 10 years, could be resolved with wisdom in one try. A different response. The same response 25 years later, here we are. The same response 10 years later, here we are. But a different response. One day later, the minds are changing. So let's break cycles, sisters and brothers. Let's break our cycles. A cycle is something you do the same way over and over again. When you get angry or they get angry, do you fight the same? That's a cycle. Do you talk about the same issues of the past? That's a cycle. Do you always bring back the things of the past? That's a cycle. Is the same way you're fighting? That's a cycle. The cycle is there to prove immaturity. The cycle is not there for you to run away and forget about the relationship, your marriages. The cycle is supposed to tell you the marriage is giving you an alarm. Problem, maturity needed. That's all the cycle is exposing. Break it with knowledge, break it with wisdom, break it with understanding. And if you don't know how to find understanding, the word of God tells you so clearly. If you don't have wisdom, come to this liberal giving God who's not going to berate you. Just ask him for wisdom, and you're going to get the wisdom to move, the wisdom to speak, the wisdom to act as a woman, as a man. I've been told to sacrifice as a man. So the wisdom to sacrifice is at this very point, at this impasse we're having, what can I sacrifice? My ego wants to say, no, I'm not going to let this go. That's exactly what we sacrifice today. Today, on the chopping block, is my pride. Because whatever it is, my wife is not getting it. But I really want to put it out. Why? Because my pride is affected as a person. I feel like if if I don't say it this way and make her see it, or if I don't get it, like, nah, man, nah, then she's not listening. Kill it. That's the sacrifice. It's asking me to sacrifice the things that comes in the way of unity. So I grab it, my pride, and I chop it off. Hey, hon, look, I'm trying to tell you how I think, but I realize it's not how I think. I have the rest of my years to demonstrate how I think so you get to know exactly who I am in terms of how God is maturing me. But if this bothers you so much, please tell me what's going on. It's okay. What's really bothering you? It's not even about what I'm thinking anymore. It's about what she's going through. Does that make sense? Then, okay, you know what, hon? Yeah, honestly, it's not even about what you're saying right now. It's not what you did. It started yesterday. Oh, it started yesterday. What happened yesterday? Well, yesterday I came to you and I'm making all this up. This is not reality. It's just a made up scene. I came to you and I was trying to tell you something, but you kind of like, eh, you just gave me that mad look, like you didn't really care about it and you didn't really pay attention and you left. And in a way, it got me thinking. So maybe I'm lashing out because of that. See, all of a sudden, it's not even about the conversation that was going on. It's about where it started from. Does that make sense? Now we're going backwards. Now we're fixing a problem. Oh, so this is where it started. You know what? I didn't think about that. I didn't mean that in any kind of way. You know how I feel about you. Blah, 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 blah. We're talking to each other. Affirmations of love is gone. And then you hear, I'm sorry if I made you. No, no, honey, don't be sorry. You don't have to worry about it. It's okay. All of a sudden, we are breaking a cycle. In the next time something like that pops up in your spouse's mind, am I overreacting? Is that who he is? Is that who she is? That's not who she is. Let me compare every good thing. So you're not negatively focusing on just one aspect that happened. You have a broad spectrum, a broad understanding of the person's nature. So now you can look at it and say, that's not who he or she is. But if you keep fighting the person, keep telling them they don't have understanding, keep telling them they're blockheaded, keep telling them they suck, that's what they're gonna believe. So every time the thought comes in, well, they already believe they suck. They already believe they lash out because you've been saying it for the last 5 years. So that's now an identity. And then you want them to change the identity you helped them create or you helped solidify. Oh, come on, we have to be smart. A little bit smarter than that. For me, I don't want the enemy to win. The word of God has told me in Colossians that Christ has already won. For that sake, I don't want him to win in any aspect of my relationship. So should I find anything that's not going the way of the word, that's what I'm fighting, not my spouse. Whatever stands in our unity, that's what I'm angry at, not my spouse. I may probably get upset at my spouse, the way they said something, but I ask myself, Well, don't they say nice things? Yes, they do. So why am I getting upset about just this one? Maybe something is wrong with them. Maybe I can do a little bit of, fact finding. Maybe there's something going on. Why do I have to just get upset all the time just about little stuff? So by the word of God, by His grace, I catch myself even when I'm being sarcastic. Even if I'm being sarcastic, like, why am I trying to be so? Am I trying to pass something on? Is there something bothering me? Like, why am I trying to do that? Because I know who my spouse is. She's the best. She's the best wife ever. She's the best. She's uncomparable. So I'm not pissed off at her. I can't be pissed off at the best. I should be pissed off at anything that describes her the least. That's what I should be pissed off at. Anything that's designed to accuse her. Now, that's what I'm supposed to go after. So if I have to go after my own ego, go after it. It's a good thing. If I have to go against my own pride, let's go after it. Sometimes my pride likes to talk. My pride likes to get its way. My wife in the past, had a different way of seeing the same thing. See, I realized, like I'm saying, everything God gave you is a benefit for your spouse. My wife has a way of seeing things drawn, like, was she's a creative person, so everything has to be, illustrated, like put into, illustration and draw it out, and she gets it when it's drawn out. I don't. I could just imagine it quick and look at 10 different ways that is not going to work out and one definite way that is going to work out. Now, imagine trying to talk to a person who likes to illustrate things on paper and a person who likes to see things in their mind. How are we going to be able to live? How? She's going to be a thorn in my flesh, and I'm going to be a thorn in her flesh. Anytime she comes up with anything, I'm not going to see it. Or if I see it, I see how it's not going to work. How are we going to work together? But if everything about the two of you, thank you, Lord, is to benefit each other, then why don't you paint me a picture? Because that's your best way of illustration, right? Paint me a picture. Let me see what you're talking about. And she paints you a picture. Then you help paint her a picture by your illustration. Then all of a sudden, you benefited. So I keep telling, like me and my wife, we have an understanding. Whenever there's something good, if you don't have something better to add, then keep quiet. Does that make sense? Whenever any one of us has a good plan, the other person needs to add to that plan. If you don't have anything good to plan or a good thing to add, keep quiet. Why? Because we're not standing in the way of progress. Does that make sense? The wisdom of God makes you understand. He says, the wisdom from above is reasonable. It's reasonable. So if my wife has a good plan, and my wife is always coming up with new ideas. Husbands, listen to your wives. They're smart, very smart. She comes up with new ideas. If she tells me any new idea, I understand by the word of God that as a man, my job is to lead that idea by just blessing it with my seed. Wow, hon, fantastic idea. My word is my seed. My word is my vision. If she's spoken it, I can just agree to it. Because the Bible has told me that we can't move forward if it's not agreed. So I need to agree to make it move forward. Does that make sense? So she comes up with, hey, hon, we want to have blah, blah, blah. Wow, that's a good plan. If I have something to add, I will add it. I see, wow, that's a great plan. We can do this. It's a blessing to have a creative woman. Always being creative and coming up with creativity. It's not against my being as a man at all. It's a blessing for me. Does that make sense to anybody? And it's not a bad thing for a man to be able to see and discern. It's a blessing for the woman. So whenever she's not paying attention to discernment and she's creating, I can discern and add to the creativity. So we are covered 360. So the enemy comes and he can't find any way in. Everything about you is the blessing for the other person. My length or my tallness is for my wife. The day I speak about sex, you guys will get angry at me. We've got it completely wrong. Everything about me is for my spouse. The good things are for my spouse. The bad things are to be chopped. He says, sacrifice for the bride. I'm sacrificing anything that does not align to the purposes in love. I'm killing it day by day by day by day because I'm supposed to sacrifice anything that doesn't move us forward. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? She's subjecting herself to me. She's submitting to me for what? She's subjecting herself to receive everything from me. I don't know why submission has become the hardest conversations to have. A day somebody asks me, I'll gladly go through it. You're gonna realize so much we don't know. But she's subjecting herself, she's falling in line to the very vision implanted in God. It's like the womb is subjecting itself to the seed. It's receiving the seed because the womb has a capacity needed for the seed. And the seed without womb is non-existent. So the seed has to sacrifice to make sure that the womb, the woman, the soil is fertile. So whatever that farmer has to do to make that soil fertile, will treasure that woman, love that woman, honor that woman, respect your soil, respect your womb, respect your wife, respect and honor her. Do everything possible to get her fertile because her womb will subject itself to your seed. Don't you see it? When I speak and she receives me, that's creation right there. Hon, I'm going to be the best, blah, 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 speaking the wisdom of God. Honey, you are more than that. Seed and womb. It's all a blessing. It's not competition. The day we realize that everything we have is for the benefit of each other, I'm telling you, life gets better. I'm looking for a lot of young people who don't get the concept of family. I'm looking for a lot of young people who don't get the concept of why they have parents and the concept of friendship and all these things that are going to set you off on the wrong path. I'm looking for young men who just got married and young men who are coming into what it really means to be a head and a leader. And a leader is not authoritarianism or telling your wife what to do, but literally living the life that literally causes God to be seen through you. Being the prayerful ones. Women, I'm sorry, but I'm sick and tired of the woman always praying and the man never prays. And when a man is about to go get married, he's like, I want a prayerful woman. A prayerful woman needs a prayerful man. How do you think they're going to keep things going? How do you think it's going to work? We need two of you to be hot. If you got two hot things going on, then fire. Like no, we wonder, no. Do you guys get it now? Are you guys getting it? Does it make sense to you? Okay. I have to go pick up my kids, so wish young people will listen to this. So catch fish and eat bread every day is better than have hunger because of anger. Yeah, anger, it just stops you. It really stops you short of being able to really see the best capabilities of yourself because your anger holds you from reaching your truest potential because your anger is a setback. But anger at failure, anger at the enemy, anger at distraction actually is a propelling tool. Anger at whatever goes against your maturity, like no. I'm gonna invest some time. No. I'm not gonna waste my anger at your determinations. Whoa, that's good. Because that's the godly zeal, the zeal to see things. Righteous anger is what that is. But we don't even understand it. We think anger is for the spouse. No. Anger is for anything against the word. So you stand and say, no, I won't let this. I'm not going to let this. That's how we keep things going the way it's meant to go. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be back here tomorrow, same time, 1 p.m. Texas time, and we're going to go into it. Tell all your friends, bring more people with you, bring all your family members, young, old, it doesn't matter. All I speak about is God's wisdom anyway. And I know God's wisdom, the word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword. It cuts both ways. It cuts men, it cuts women. So you're not just going to get me talking about women or just men. It cuts both ways. If you need to send me a message, send me a message ask Mr. OPM at gmail.com, ASKMROPM, ask Mr. OPM at gmail.com. Just send your emails there, and I'm gonna reply them and get to you as I receive. So I gotta go pick up my kids. Yep. So when you come to me, never think you're gonna. It's a double-edged sword. We talk about men and women. Talk about how women should understand, how men should. I'm tired of just the woman always being told what to do. No, only their husband and their wife should talk to each other. I'm not allowed to talk to people's wives. But it just so happens that, okay, fine, God, we're going to talk about the wisdoms now. So when you come in, we talk about men and women, children and adults, everything in one. We need complete understanding. Thank you so much for joining. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.